Charleston into chaos, the facility where it took place will now reopen. For more, we send it over to our Sean Mahoney, who is live at the Pepperhill Baseball Park. So, Sean, how do city officials plan to address safety concerns we're hearing from parents?
Hey, well, good morning, Natalie. Well, as you could hear in the distress in those calls, it was a scene that no one ever expected. A barrage of gunshots during a youth baseball game. And it has parents and players and coaches alike wondering if their kids can play the sport within their own community safely. But city officials, they say they hope to calm those fears with additional police presence, security measures, and mental health resources. Now, starting today, 2 uniformed police officers will be at the facility during every game that takes place at Pepperhill Park. In addition, there will be extra support staff to provide what the city calls, quote, extra eyes to the stadium. Extra cameras and lighting were donated to the facility and installed within the last couple of days. And there will also be therapy dogs at tonight's reopening as well. And with these measures in place, city officials say they are confident the community will feel safe once again playing ball at the park.
We're trying to do everything to make sure, obviously, that this kind of situation doesn't happen again, but for the folks that are coming to Pepperhill, whether they live in the community or live outside the community, that they feel safe. And I think Wednesday, you're going to see that. And we hope that obviously that will continue for the future.
Now, Ralston also says additional fencing will be installed in the coming weeks. And there's also expected to be extra police officers in addition to the 2 dedicated to the park at tonight's reopening as well as city officials. Now, despite these safety measures being implemented by the city, some parents still are worried or concerned about bringing their kids back to Pepperhill Park. And coming up in a half hour, hear directly from these parents and how they plan to take safety measures into their own hands. Natalie?
Thanks, Sean. North Charleston's Mayor Keith Summey has offered a $10,000 reward for an arrest for those involved in that shooting.
Well, finishing what they started tonight, 2 Dixie League baseball teams completed a game that was interrupted by gunfire last week at Pepperhill Park in North Charleston. Our Tara Jabor was at that game and tells us how parents are feeling about their kids playing baseball again.
A special night at the Joe. 2 teams, the Royals and Angels, got to play ball.
He's so excited. You know, this is his first night back on the mound. So he's ready to, this is a great way for them to face their fears and jump right into an exciting way that traumatic event that they just had the other day hopefully doesn't even register because they're so excited to be here.
Blake Ferguson says he's grateful to the Parks and Rec Department of North Charleston and the River Dogs for making the game happen. He says his son is slowly healing from last week's violence.
It's been getting better and better each day. So he's still, if he's going to the bathroom in a public place, asking me to go with him, a little more cautious about where he's like, hey, there's a back door there, like stuff that he wouldn't normally say.
Nikki Sheely says watching her son play at the Joe is something she'll never forget.
All right, there's a saying in baseball, that's my heart on the field. Watching my son play at the Joe was an amazing experience.
Sheely tells us she's been closely watching her son since last week to make sure he's coping. She's thankful that nobody was hurt, but she's still concerned about the safety of her son playing baseball.
We still have concerns as parents, and as the city implements more safety measures that they say they're going to do, hopefully in time the parents can regain that confidence to get back out there at Pepperhill.
Sheely told us she knows North Charleston leaders are doing what they can, but it'll take more time for her to feel comfortable. Her family is still digesting what happened last week.
So the week has been a whirlwind. It was a lot to digest, and then going from, oh my goodness, I could have lost my family on that field, to we need to speak up and talk to our city leaders and let them know our concerns.
Tomorrow, North Charleston Parks and Rec will let games resume at Pepperhill Park. They will have 2 officers on the fields.
Breaking this noon, a grandmother and mother are charged with murdering their 3.5-year-old son. The toddler, police say, was starved to death. Police found the child in a West Asheville motel after someone called for a welfare check. News 13's Kimberly King joins us live from the police department. Kim, you have new information in this case.
Katie, we do. We know that the mother and grandmother were from Gastonia, but the lead detective on this case is telling me that they had been living in this West Asheville motel for several months, possibly. This is Lieutenant Russ Crisp. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. And just tell us, if you can, a little bit more about the tragedy that you found when you responded to the scene.
It's definitely a tragedy. The officers responded to the scene, located the juvenile victim deceased in the motel room. Extremely malnourished, very skinny, clearly not in good health. And so that is what led to the further investigation of this case.
And we do want to mention that the two women, the mother of the victim is Shantarika Matthews, in her late 29 years old, and the grandmother Inga Matthews, 50. I know they're in police custody. They're in jail on no bond, first-degree murder, and also multiple charges of neglect. I know there was a lot of emotion around this because it was a child. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Everybody here at the department is still very emotional about this case. It is a horrific tragedy. Any cases involving crimes against children, and this one especially, is just a terrible incident that nobody is ever going to forget who had to experience going there. The goal now is to get justice for the young victim, but also to make sure that our first responders are seeking any type of maybe emotional help or assistance if they need from going to the call.
And I know that this happened obviously yesterday, that you got the welfare check call, so it's obviously a fluid case and you're trying to contact relatives of the child victim.
We are. We're following up on leads, trying to make contact with further relatives. The investigation is ongoing, less than 24 hours old at this time, so we're continuing to work as hard as we possibly can.
Okay, Lieutenant Crisp, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is a developing story, and we'll have more coming up tonight at 5 and 6.